Group 3. Understanding the self. Nature of the self with society and culture. In any behavior context, it is academically significant that the self will be studied, preserved and understood. It is vital to know where a Filipino adolescent came from and what cultural reason he/she embraced, where it is also personally necessary. Teenagers' interactions with people are sometimes slightly misjudged, misunderstood or in other way around, labeled as behaviorally complicated could be a form of defense mechanism, according to Sigmund Freud. Every man, being made in the image and likeness of God, deserves a minimum regard, but to the Filipino, social acceptance has so strong a hold that it can be watered down or reduced to a facility at getting along with others in such a way as to avoid outward signs of conflict. When rejected or criticized, the Filipino's attitude has never been confrontational. He/she tries not to meet the issue head-on. Sir is acquired and preserved through what is commonly called pakikisama. Pakikisama comes from the Tagalog root sama, which means to accompany or go along with. As added from the Book of Southeast Asian Foundation, when a teenager is provided by peers to give us his or her study hours and watch a movie instead, he/she could choose to say no. Another instance would be the group's acceptance of responsibility for the actions of its members. Among the tribal Filipinos of the North, this sense of responsibility may even be carried over to the headhunting ritual. On the other hand, pakikisama may be expressed positively in the lusong or bayanihan. A farmer or fisherman normally cannot harvest or fish alone unless the family as large as extended families go to accomplish this task. They may ask the help of the cooperative work bee or bayanihan. To the Filipino, every service received, solicited or not, demands a return according to the relative states of the parties involved. Utang na loob is first featured as part of Philippine life in 1663 when Colin said that the kabarangay or resident of the barangay attached to a data may give of the proceeds of his effort because of the paternalistic relationship between the rules and ruled. There is also an intra-family utang na loob, a Tagalog saying gozing hindi mernong, lumingan sa pinanggalingan a hindi, makakarating sa pararunan. Children are expected to be everlasting grateful to their parents. The children also show their gratitude by taking care of their parents in their old age. Anything that brings about hiya is avoided. This accounts for the complexity of dialogue among Filipinos. A typical conversation is not direct to the point. The initiator sends out feelers or pasakali, trying to discover whether the other person is open to conversation. Now let's be realistic. Here comes what teenagers need to know that most parents want to prevent children from self-pity over, improve rushed situations, b preserve self-image of the family, and c maintain family survival. Self-awareness. According to Gerdner 1982 as cited by Dela Cruz, Lazo and Mapu 2005, p. 3031, there are a number of factors that the children know about self-awareness. They should 1. Be aware of their own body, its appearance, state and size, body size. 2. Be able to refer to themselves appropriately through language and be able to distinguish descriptions which apply to set and which do not. 3. Be aware of their own personal history, experience they have had, skills and abilities acquired, their own needs and wishes. It only show that anyone have self-awareness if he or she will be able to adapt and adjust from the impulse and pressures of people around. Positive emotional self-awareness. Mastering the self means being totally aware of who you are and what you are capable of doing. This also means that you know your limitations and weakness. How self interrelates with self-schemas. The differences between self-concept, self-esteem, social self, and self-knowledge are the following. Self-concept is cognitive or perceptive bearing of the self. For example, I am a good listener. Self-esteem is evaluative and dogmatic, e.g. I am proud being a good listener. Social self is normative or collective. For example, I am proud because my teachers told me that I am a good listener. Self-knowledge is self-mastery or self-apprehension. For example, I know in many ways that I am a good listener. In fact, I can listen while I read. I've done that several times. The self-concept is comprised of one's self-schemas as it interacts favorably with self-esteem, self-knowledge, and social self in order to design the self fully. Self-concept. the study of Silva 2005 and attitudes towards family, gender, interpersonal, relationship, and self-concept in relation to academic performance. That's all for our report. Thank you, and God bless.